Hello, East Africa, and welcome to your world. It's World Children's Day, and a good opportunity to hand over the microphone to children to find out how they would like to shape their world. Good morning. My name is Joseph Warungo, and coming up this Friday, the 20th of November. And this morning, we're asking you, on this World Children's Day, we ask what can be done to stop child rights violation. Please share your thoughts, comments, or even questions on our hashtag #NewNormal. But just before we get into the discussion, let's have a look at the COVID-19 situation around the world. And as I speak, 57,231,635 people so far confirmed positive for COVID-19. Of these, 39,720,721 have so far recovered, while sadly, as of today, 1,365,461 people have passed on as a result of the COVID-19 around the world. On the African continent, South Africa first, this is a situation there. 759,658 people confirmed positive for COVID-19. Out of this, 702,544 have so far recovered. And in South Africa, unfortunately, they've so far lost 20,671 people. Closer home to Kenya, our numbers, 74,145 people so far confirmed positive. Of these, 50,658 have recovered, and we've unfortunately lost 1,330 people here in Kenya. Across to some of our neighboring countries, to Uganda first, where they're preparing for an election. 17,148 people confirmed positive. Of these, 8,426 have recovered. As at this moment, in Uganda, they've lost 158 people. Some of our other East African neighbors in Somalia, 4,382 people so far confirmed positive. Of this, 3,384 have recovered, and they've lost 108 people in Somalia. And finally, to Rwanda, this is the situation there. 5,572 people confirmed positive for COVID-19 in Rwanda. 5,137 have so far recovered. And as at the moment, since they started reporting their data, 46 people have so far passed on in Rwanda as a result of COVID-19. So, our discussion this morning, and what we want to hear from you, we're asking you this. On this World Children's Day, we ask what can be done to stop child rights violation. Please share your thoughts and your comments on our hashtag #NewNormal. So welcome to our discussion this morning. And my guest here with me in the studio is Maniza Zaman, who is the UNICEF representative to Kenya. We're also joined via Zoom by Tyra Angel. She's the overall winner of the UNICEF's Reimagine competition. She's a 14-year-old pupil at St. Andrews, Turi. We also have Joshua Kimkung, who was a runner-up in the Reimagine competition. He's 11 years old at Langata West Primary School. And just, you better wait for what he does for a living. He's got an amazing story. And also, Immaculate Ajiambo, also runner-up in the Reimagine competition. She's 24-year-old. She's a youth advocate in Mariakani, Kilifi County. So welcome to the program. Maniza, good morning and welcome to your world.
Good morning to you and happy World Children's Day.
Indeed. And so what is the significance of this day?
So, World Children's Day has a bit of a history. The first time we used to call it Universal Children's Day in 1954. And then in 1989, on 20th of November, was the specific date when the world adopted the Convention on the Rights of the Child. And basically, it's a day to celebrate children, to reaffirm our commitment to children's rights, to listen to them, and to really let them have a voice in terms of what they would like to see in terms of their world, their future. So it's a time for celebration, I think. It's also a time for really, getting our energies back up and saying, children, you are the future.
Now, talking about the rights of children, it's been a really difficult year for everybody, and especially so for children. How has the pandemic impacted on the rights of children here in Kenya, as well as?
Extraordinary year, as you've said. With COVID-19, what we see, of course, are some of the direct effects, people who fall ill. And then we've got all the indirect effects that are coming out because of all the containment measures governments have put in to actually try to kind of slow down the spread of the disease and contain it. So I think for children, primarily, it's the secondary effects of the containment measures that have really impacted them. And what are some of these impacts? Let's start with health. What we're seeing is that we are seeing a drop in use of the normal essential health services. So for example, parents taking their kids for immunization, parents going to clinics when their children are ill. We've seen a drop in that, particularly in the first few months of COVID. So that impacts children's health. When we talk about children's health, I think we need to also look at mental health. This has become a huge issue, as you can imagine, because of this extraordinary circumstance: uncertainty, anxiety, loneliness, not knowing what the future holds. So I think there are issues related to mental health as well. Perhaps the biggest impact is school closures.
Yes.
It's been, it was 7 months and even counting now that kids have been out of school. And this is not only about loss of learning, because at school there is a safe environment as well, and kids are able to socialize, be with their peers. So there's much more than loss of learning, because I think when kids are away from that protected environment, unfortunately and sadly, what we're seeing is rising cases of child violence, child marriage, female genital mutilation, child labor. So there's all that is impacting kids. And maybe finally, I'd say, of course, during this situation, we see more and more families that have fallen into poverty. And when that happens, unemployment, you can imagine what happens to the family situation. And kids live in families, and they feel that impact and they experience that. So it has been really a tough year. But I will say, even in this toughness, you see resilience, you see hope. And you see them, kids, kind of thinking of the future.
And you work directly with children. What kind of support or what kind of interventions have you, put in place to support these kids?
Sure. So we work in different areas. So let me start with the work that we're doing directly to support the COVID response here in Kenya. First of all, very much involved in the risk communication, getting the message out there in terms of what needs to be done in a digestible manner to the ordinary person, but also to kids. Secondly, really supporting with increasing the hand washing stations and facilities that are available in different places, particularly the informal settlements. Thirdly, we have supported the country to bring in more protective gear for health workers and frontline workers as well. And then when we look at education, because children have had to go into remote learning, we realized that there was a great proportion of kids who couldn't access any form of remote learning. So that was one of our first things to also think about. How do we support the ministry so that more kids can actually access some form of remote learning? So what we have done is worked with the ministry, to put more content online, on radio and TV. It was limited, we're expanding that. I think secondly, we have procured solar-powered radios and put them out there and distributed those for many, many families because this is what they needed to access at least the basic content. For those who couldn't get radios or TV or have access to TV, we actually sent out learning materials, books, pencils, etc., and that the kids could use. So there's been a lot of support in education, a lot of support in water and sanitation. And finally, I would also say in terms of the issues related to protection. You know, there's a child helpline, 116, here in Kenya, where any child can actually call in, or anybody can call in when there see child rights violations, abuse, etc. And we've been able to support the government to have more people there to man or person these helplines, because it wasn't enough, the capacity. Right. And also in the informal settlements, we were getting more frontline workers that work on protection issues, you know, child protection volunteers. So it's a whole package of interventions that we've been working on.
Right, and as I said, it's been a really tough year for a lot of people. It's a world people want to forget, the year 2020, and you had this competition going, reimagining the world. What was that all about?
You know, so normally we find a way to celebrate this day, 20th of November, and we thought, okay, in this particular context, you know, we're not going to be able to have focus group discussions, bring kids in and have those conversations. So what we thought was, let's have this whole experience and this thought of hope, because it has to be about hope. And so we said, let's get kids to be creative about what they imagine the world after COVID to be like. And importantly, what do they feel they can do and contribute to? So really, it was a fantastic competition that went out. We got entries in relation to sort of audio stories, written work, photography, videos, any creative means kids wanted to have. So it was just to listen to them, hear them, and then see how we can support, create that world that they want.
Okay. Thank you, Manisa. Now we've got the winners of that competition with us who are joining us via Zoom. Let me start with you. Tyra, good morning and welcome to Your World.
Good morning. Thank you.
Okay, now congratulations, first of all, for winning this competition. I know you did an audio piece. What did you write about? What did you speak about?
I spoke about reimagining the future. And I also kept pointers about how I would like to see the world after COVID-19.
And what was your future? What is your future, the future that you'd like to see?
The future I would like to see after COVID-19 is a world where unity is key, a world where creativity is nurtured, a world where everyone appreciates every breath they take in this world, a world where talents are appreciated and supported, a world where there is safety and loads of love, a world where we can appreciate everyone despite their race, their tribe, their beliefs, their origin, and even their height. And lastly, a world where the government looks deeper into people's needs rather than their selfless desires.
Okay. Thank you. Stay on the line for us as I go to Joshua. Joshua, good morning. Welcome to Your World.
I thought of the world as people to be outside and have fun with nature, not to stay in the house every time, to keep a healthy heart, and also eat healthy foods which will help them in life. Yes, and the children to also start hiking, exercising, and going for stuff like that, which would be great, and also to be safe and everybody living their lives peacefully and healthy.
Now, thank you, Joshua. All those things you're saying, you actually do most of them yourself because I know you're a hiker. Tell me about your climbing and hiking experience trying to conquer mountains.
Oh yes, hiking is great. It helps you. It helps you a lot when you're climbing. Your legs exercise, your whole body is exercising. So you also have to eat healthy food If you don't, you won't be feeling well, and also drinking water every time you hike. You should finish your water.
Okay.
If you
Uh-huh. Joshua, just give me one
mhm.
moment because I wanna go a little bit deeper into your hiking. Now, the name is Joshua Mucha Kimkung, and as you've heard, he's actually gearing up to climb Mount Kenya at the young age of 11 years. Now, this isn't a bit to help fundraise for his school, Angata Primary School. The school needs a school bus so that his over 1,500 schoolmates can travel safely. Now, his first ever hike was in June 2018 in the Aberdares, Kenya. He was only 9 years old. Now he wants to go even further and climb Mount Kilimanjaro. So, how far, or rather, how high does he intend to climb? Well, let me get that from him. But uh, we're seeing Joshua there. Wow, some of us, the highest we've climbed is on top of a tree. This young 11-year-old Joshua is really up. So, Joshua, I'm watching pictures of you doing the hike. What was the experience walking in all these very cold places?
Yes,
Hi,
it
Joshua.
was very
Yeah, go on.
it was it was very hard. It was because every time I walk, I had to sink my feet inside the snow and follow my mother's footsteps. But it was great. It was great to see the snow, to see everything, and it had a really good view.
So your mom is your hiking partner.
Yes,
Okay. How did you stay warm? I can see you dressed in. What did you have underneath that orange jacket? I'm seeing you in a nice heavy jacket. How did you stay
I
warm?
had I had two t-shirts, two sweaters, and a very big jacket.
And what do you eat when you're on a mountain like that? A bit of ugali, or what do you eat?
We eat beans, healthy food, but not junk food.
Okay. I can see you really are into healthy eating. Thank you. You challenge some of us adults. Thank you so much, Joshua. Stay on the line for me as I cross over to Immaculate Ajambo. Good morning.
Good morning, Joseph.
Now, you are also a runner-up in the Reimagine competition. What did you reimagine the world to be?
I envisioned a world where every child will access education regardless of where they are, regardless of the situations that they are actually put in. They should just be able to access education. That was the world I reimagined. And at this point, I looked at the pandemic and what it has taught us in that we still have a long way to go in terms of making education. And there's a topic that has been in discussion, and we try to put it back, which is digital learning. And at this point, if we can move on to embrace it the way we now have the online shopping, people no longer have to go into the street to start moving from one supermarket to the other to get the product that they want. So I envisioned that world where every child will have access to learning resources and information. That is the world I want post-COVID.
Okay, thank you so much. Tyra, let me come back to you for a moment. What,
Yes.
how has the COVID-19 pandemic impacted on your own life?
My COVID-19 pandemic has been a bit tricky because before you would go out, and so this time it has not only like had a negative impact, but it has also had a positive impact. And one of them, which has helped me have more creativity. It has made me think outside the box and also want to recreate new things and also innovate them. Um, During this COVID-19 pandemic, it has kind of changed because in school you used to go virtual, you used to go physical learning, but these days you have to go virtual learning. Sometimes you can find that your internet is not good enough to join the class, so you end up being late. And I can say that it has not only impacted me negatively, it has also impacted me positively.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. Joshua, let me ask you, you're trying to raise funds for a school bus. Why did you decide to
Yes.
do, why?
It is because the school doesn't have the school doesn't have enough school buses for children, and a lot of them live far from the school. So I want to start climbing mountains so that I can help the children in our school fundraise and buy a school bus.
Okay, so what is your next mountain?
I'm actually climbing three mountains. They are Mount Kilimanjaro, Mount Meru, and Mount Kenya in one month from the 1st to the 23rd of December 2020.
Wow, good luck with all of that. We can only watch, we can't join you, but we hope we can give you support to, a lot of people can support your, you really know on HIV matters and HIV awareness, I'm sure amongst young people. Why is that?
Uh, Actually, I got into that area from my interaction with young people, and I realized that those who are affected with HIV and AIDS actually face a lot of challenges, especially in terms of going to school, getting good nutrition. So partnering with an organization known as Tumaini Support Group, um, I realized that there's so much we have to do in terms of addressing the stigma that comes with HIV and AIDS. And at this point, we'll have most young people, teenagers talking about it and just cutting down the stigma. So my interest was to ensure that these young people don't actually hold back their potential, their talent, because of what they were going through by not going to school when they have to go for their drugs. They can still get somewhere to go and access what they missed during the school lesson. So we started a small library where they can get some books, where they can come and interact and share. So I'm looking at this as one of the ways of me helping the community in
Okay.
addressing HIV and AIDS education, uh, just killing two birds with one stone. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that. Now, just before we wind up, let me come to you, Tyra, and ask you, the world that you reimagined, are you hopeful it will come true?
Pardon?
The world that you reimagined,
Yes.
are you hopeful that it will come true, that world will come true?
Um, I personally think that it will come true because I don't only state facts, I try my best to do what I say. So I'm personally a philanthropist who supports young boys and girls doing charity projects. If we get to teach the next generation that's coming, the next generation will have, you're going to see different changes are going to be made. As I mentioned earlier, a world where safety and lots of love are there. If
Okay.
you teach the young ones to show love to each other, the next generation will have a lot of love. And even if someone has a problem, you could go and ask them a question and it's going to be okay. They're going to help you. So I'm also a mentor to others. And if I say these words, I'll try my best into bringing up my organization that I own, Miss Gorgeous and and Mr. Cool,
Okay.
to help this world be a better world.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. We are coming to the end of our program, but let me get some quick comment as well from Joshua. Are you hopeful, Joshua, that the world that you reimagined will come true one day?
Yes, don't think I know that it will come true
I like your
because
confidence.
thank you. It's because I've been praying every day, and if you also pray every day, God will listen to you and do the same thing, and He will let Corona end and do as you want if you pray well
Okay.
and believe that He will do what you have prayed for.
To all that, Joshua, I say amen. Asante sana. And finally, Immaculate, just briefly, the world that you have reimagined, is it a world that might come true someday?
Yes, this world will come through because we are moving into the digital world. We are already into the digital world, but moving deeper into the digital world. So I believe with the digital and the remote learning, it's going to be possible. And I'm looking at the government. The government has already started partnering with organizations and creative and innovators, the education innovators, in taking up their projects. And I believe once everything goes into place, this world is going to is going to come true. It's going to exist, and I'll be happy that it exists. And yeah,
Okay.
we'll just share the joy together.
Thank you so much, Immaculate. And finally, let me come back to you, Melissa, for a closing thought. Children are about to go back to school in January. How are you involved in supporting that transition from people who are stuck at home to now going back to school?
Thanks. Actually, we're excited, hopeful that everything will go smoothly. So we've been actually helping the ministry prepare schools to open in terms of specifically looking at water and sanitation facilities in schools, but also we're procuring masks for the children most needy children who need it. And actually also integrating issues related to mental health and psychosocial support into sort of the teachers' orientation so that they're much more aware of what's happening. And I think, also very much looking at how we can be monitoring the guidelines that there are for school reopening. So we're supporting the ministry to do that. So we all need to join forces for this to make it happen and to make it happen safely. So really looking forward to that.
And finally, they spoke about how they hope that their reimagined world will come true. What are your thoughts for the year ahead for our children?
I couldn't say it much better than what they did. So here's what I would say to kids. I would say dream big like you always do. Be curious. Be bold, be confident, and be kind, because this is your world, your future, your turn to actually shape it in the way that you want, and we are here to support you, really. So that's a positive thought. We've got to think positively.
Okay, so thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much, Manisa, and to Tyra, and Joshua, and Immaculate. We're going to go on a short break now, but congratulations again to all of you. Wishing you all the best. Joshua, I'm still challenging you. Once you're done with the mountains of Africa, we want to go to Everest. I'll still be doing the little hills, but because you're younger, you're stronger, I'll let you do, Mount Everest and the others. But congratulations, guys, and thank you for joining us this morning as we mark the World Children's Day. Your World takes a short break now.